Hello there all you beautiful gamers, and welcome to this video for Escape from Tarkov, featuring content from 0.11 patch of Escape from Tarkov. And in this patch a brand new map was added, the Terror Group Labs map, which features a new bunch of scavs called Raiders, who take on the form of PMCs. But they're not just any old PMCs, they're highly trained and heavily geared, which might be intimidating for some, but in this video I'm going to show you how to go from zero to hero, using the cheapest loadout available and extracting with one of the most expensive loadouts. Okay, so the build that we're going to be using for this today is very simple. Go to Prepare, level 1, filter by guns and buy a TT pistol. Now filter by magazines and buy 2 magazines for the TT pistol. Now filter by ammo. If you've only got level 1 Prepper, then the best ammo available to you is the FMJ43. This does 60 damage to flesh. Although if you do have level 2 Prepper available, then you should buy some LR NPC ammo. This does 66 damage to flesh, and is the best ammunition all round if you're going for headshots. If you buy a stack of 50 ammo, that should be enough. Back out of the traders and go back to your stash. Load up the first 2 magazines that you bought, and then reload the weapon. Fill up the last magazine. Place the remaining mag in your pockets and then equip the weapon. Store any leftover ammo in your secure container, and also bring a grenade if you have one available. Grenades can be useful, not just for killing raiders and other players, but also to distract the raiders and make them change positions. If you place the grenade in your pocket, hover over it and then press one of the number keys. When you press that number key in the raid, you'll place the grenade in your hands. If you then press right mouse and then right mouse again, you'll underhand toss it right in front of you. Be sure to bring a medikit, such as an IFAK. You could also bring some Golden Star Balm, which will give you 100 hydration, useful if your stomach gets popped. Some Vaseline, which will fix broken bones. And of course a pack of painkillers so that you can still use your arms and legs after being blacked out. Okay, and that's it. Don't bother to insure any of your items because there's a very low chance that you'll get anything back from the labs map. Just jump straight onto your PMC and then select labs and press ready. So the first spawn that I'm going to be showing you is probably the best one you can get. After running up some stairs and then opening some double doors, if you run to the left and then go up these stairs, turn to the right, open the first door that you get to, look on the desks for a control panel. Press the control panel, and then run back the way you came. You could also close the door behind you so that nobody knows you've actually been in there. Run back to that first corridor where you started, and then secure the area by closing all of the doors around you. Now that control panel opened up the garage doors, where you'll find one of several extracts on this map. There is also a possibility for the raider scavs to spawn in this area, so most of the time you'll need to make sure that you're not out in the open. There is a grenade box in this corridor as well, which sometimes spawns F1 and RGD grenades, and you'll obviously want to pick up as many of those as you can carry. If you follow the corridor all the way round, you'll find a group of boxes. On top of these boxes is a weapon crate. If you're lucky, you might find some nice weapon attachments, such as a suppressor or a sight. If you're really lucky, you might find an AKS, with a magazine loaded and ready to go. I didn't find anything this time, so I'll be heading back around to where I started. So the strategy here is to open one of these doors and then get back to behind this wall and hold the angle. It doesn't seem like any players are going to come through and take me by surprise, so I set up my grenade for the underhand throw. And now it's just a waiting game. If you're not a very patient player, this might not be the play for you, but this definitely works. All you have to do is be patient. Sometimes you might hear the raiders nearby, but they're not actually peeking you, so you can force them to move by throwing a grenade, underhand preferably. Once you've engaged them and they know where you are, they'll usually push you to try and kill. So all you have to do is hold that angle and wait for the perfect opportunity to headshot one of them. And that's one scav raider down. But it sounded like there was another one also. So I'm going to reload and also repack the magazine that I just used. And then push forward just a little bit to see if I can determine where the next raider is. I don't know if you heard that, but there was a slight skid on the floor, which usually happens when you turn in on the spot. So I know the raider is just directly to my right. You have to be really careful when dealing with a raider head-on though, because they're not like normal scavs. They'll lock onto you so fast, and if you give them the opportunity to shoot you, they're more than likely going to shoot you in the head. Ideally, you want to be in a raider's line of sight for a second or less to avoid getting insta-headshot. If you take your time to line up a shot, then you're probably already dead. So the trick is to figure out where the raider is and then pre-line up your shot before you actually engage. And I'll show you exactly what I mean with this next raider. So as soon as you see a raider, before he has a chance to react, step back from where you were going, aim down sights and line up where you think the head was, then step back out and start firing. And assuming there's no other raiders nearby, you can scoop up all this juicy loot. Typically these raiders will have an AK-104, an alpha chest rig, some type of headset, and usually armor. It's important that you search the chest rig so that you're able to reload your weapon. You should also scope in at least once so that there's no chance the weapon will lag when you actually want to use it. It's also worth checking the fire mode of the weapon as well, because sometimes the raiders use the weapon in single fire mode. Be aware that if you've only seen one or two raiders, there may also be some more in the extract, so scope it out and make sure you're not going to get shot in the butt. A lot of these raiders wear Gen 4 armor, but unfortunately, neither of the raiders that I killed had this available. The only one I could find was the trooper armor. Still, it's better than nothing. Try not to spend too long looting, because you never know when somebody's going to stumble across you and start shooting. And if you do see or hear evidence of other people nearby, stop looting immediately. Assess the situation and then determine whether it's safe to continue looting. Above all, don't be too greedy, because greed gets you killed on this game. So the handy thing about choosing this spot to kill the raiders is that you're right next to the extracts. So when you're done, head on out and enjoy the spoils of war.
Зашибись.
So experience-wise, that was quite a good raid, almost 5,000 experience for killing 2 raiders with a headshot via a pistol. Total loadout cost around 25k, or 10k if you don't take a grenade. Total profit at least 100k, and perhaps 200 or 300 if you end up finding some Gen 4 armors. Okay, so let's look at another spawn. This is another great spawn with several possibilities. You need to start sprinting straight away, turn right, go through the doorway, turn left, carry on straight, turn right, head up the steps, and then go into the control room and press the control button on the desk. You then need to back up and head all the way back to where you spawned, preferably closing the door behind you so that any players that come to this area may not know whether there is somebody camping in there. Sometimes when you head back to this spawn area, one of the raiders will have already spawned there. This is actually ideal because this is a very easy kill. So just like before, grab all the loot as fast as possible, prepare your weapon and then move on. Now seeing as you only spawned in with a pistol, you might opt to stay in this raid for a while and use the new loadout you've acquired. Or you could just head to the extract and make some quick easy money, which is what I'm going to do on this particular raid. Must buy more weapon cases. Must buy more item cases.
Я 300-й, блядь! Давим их! Давим!
So again, a very easy raid where we got some high level loot, and we were completely uncontested. We didn't even see any other players. Although the labs is actually a very large map, so it's completely reasonable that you might not run into anybody at all, depending on where you spawn, of course. So let's take another look at that spawn. We'll start a new raid and try again. So it seems like the raider spawned there again, and he's given me a little bit of trouble this time. Remember, don't peek them for more than a second. Some of your shots might be just shy of a headshot, but don't get discouraged. Keep trying until they drop. Same as before, search the vest so that you can reload. Get the weapon out. Check the magazine. Optionally, reload. Check the fire mode. Scope in at least once, and maybe check the magnification. And then do whatever you want to do. You could spend a good few hours farming this map in this way, and either come out with lots of loadouts to play with, or lots of money to spend.
Обнаружен выход. Сука!
Only one kill that time, but still managed to get 2,600 experience. Decent. Alright, let's have one final look at that same spawn, and then we'll move on. So it would appear that this raider has spawned somewhere else this time. When this happens, if you take a right and then run up the stairs, it'll lead to an office where you can find a key on a table. Unfortunately, it's not here this time. There is also a weapon crate that you can loot. And there are sometimes weapon mods scattered on this little table. When you're done in this room, head back towards the spawn area. So this time I'm hearing shots outside of this storage area, and I spot a raider standing in the distance. It seems like he was focused on somebody else, so I'd basically had a free kill there. I reload and repack the magazine, and then I'm ready to go and investigate. It's probably wise not to just run straight in there, because these raiders usually travel in packs. And if you run straight in there like an idiot, you might run straight into the line of sight of another raider. Whereas if you walk in and listen closely, you might get a sense of where the raiders actually are. If it sounds like they're busy fighting somebody else, then scoop the loot up and get the F out of there. So I played that one slightly different, but in the end it was still easier. Okay, so maybe you're getting a sense of how simple this can be if you play it correctly. I have one more spawn to show you, but before that I'm going to show you what happens if you meet any resistance along the way. Because I know I did make that look very easy, but I did die a handful of times while I was trying to get this footage. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or in this case, the right place at the right time. For me, at least. I kind of feel sorry for this dude, getting one-tapped by a pistol, only moments after spawning in. But hey, that's the game now. You knew what you were getting into when you pressed the ready button. I should have known something was wrong here, because that door's normally open. If you pause the video and look at the crack between the door and the door frame, you can actually see the player hiding behind the door. Well done, dude. So this is a bulletproof target practice room, which also has some stuff spawning in, such as weapons and weapon mods. And where there's high value loot locked behind a door, there is of course a bunch of useless hatchet runners. Sometimes you want to hide if you hear somebody coming. take them by surprise and quickly remove them from the raid. This is a prime example of why you need to check that your newly acquired equipment is ready to use. The mistake I made here was not examining the vest, because if I don't know there's magazines in the vest, I can't actually reload my weapon, and that really messed me up here because the magazine that was loaded was only half full. And of course the spot that I ran to check the vest was occupied by a raider. Just my luck. Alright, let's look at one more spawn before we wrap this video up. When you spawn on these stairs, go straight down one level, out of the door, turn right, and then turn left into the medical unit. Each of the rooms in here have medical loot, such as blood sets, H2O2, NaCl, painkillers, morphine, and so on. So when you step out of the ward with the beds in, turn left and run down the corridor. You may see a raider along the way. Continue on down the long corridor until you reach another group of stairs. Head down these stairs one level to reach the server room. Walk to the very end of the server room, and you'll see some metal steps which lead up to the office which I showed you earlier. If you think there's players nearby, then you might want to crouch and creep up these stairs to make less noise. Head through the door at the far end and you're basically at the spawn point, and you could approach this with the same strategy as I showed you on the previous spawn. And there you go, there's several ways to go from 0 to hero with only a pistol, and this isn't a new method. I've been doing stuff like this on the old maps, with both the TT pistol and also the TOS shotgun. Find an area with scavs, hold an angle where you're covered, and wait. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you learned something from it too. If you did, then consider giving it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, then give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, then press the subscribe button to receive notifications of all future videos. You've been watching Derek Deagle, also known as Desert Eagle Derek. See you next time.